Pricing your services as a real estate photographer is one of the biggest ways you can either make or break the success of your business. And there are a lot of misconceptions and generally bad advice that I see floating around. And so in this video, I want to talk about how we price our services at my real estate photography business, Norman & Young, and go through some of the mistakes that not only we've made along the way, but also see other photographers making so that you can skip past all that and get to the good part of pricing your services correctly. Now, first things first, there's no right way to price your services as a photographer, but there are ways that will make you more money and ways that will make you less money. And on this video, I want to help you find the ways that will make you more money and implement those into your business. So I'm going to be giving you a full deep dive on the pricing at my business and also talking through those common mistakes, starting with mistake number one, which is the whole charge your worth nonsense that you'll see out there. Now, here's the thing. I understand that in some types of photography, you're probably limiting yourself by not charging enough, but in real estate photography, there really is a market price, and you definitely want to be within that market price if you want to get business. Now, here's what I mean by that. If you look up photographers in your area, you'll see some that are $150 a shoot, 175, 250, 300, kind of in that range depending on where you are in the country. And I'm just talking about for base photos. Then there's that one guy in every market who charges like $1,000 or $2,000 and it says real estate on his website. Now, here's the thing. If you price like this guy, you're not going to get any business because the chances are that he doesn't have any business either. And that's why you see a lot of photographers that will have like real estate, weddings, and automotive and everything on their site in like really high prices, at least with real estate. And the truth is they just don't get any business in that price range. So if you want to get a lot of business, you need to be within the market price. And the best way to do that is find companies in your area that only shoot real estate. You want to compare apples to apples here, not comparing your business as a real estate only company with someone who shoots a lot of different stuff. Maybe occasionally that guy gets a listing for $1,000 or $2,000 that's really high end, or just some real estate agent finds him. But generally, that's not a good way to build a sustainable business. And what we're talking about here is pricing so you get the most amount of money per month, not the most amount per shoot, because those are very different things. So within that market rate, let's say it's 150 to 300 in your area. Here's my advice. Do not be in the bottom half. There's no strategic advantage to being in the bottom half, right? But there is an advantage to being in the top half because you're still within that market rate, but you're going to be maximizing how much money you make per shoot. And that's very important. This is typically called average order value, and it's a metric that we track at my company that is very important. Our average order value is about $350, give or take $50, depending on the time of year, just generally how the market is in a given year. And that's a metric we watch very carefully and try to improve. Now, here's the thing. If we just doubled our prices, chances are we would lose all of our business. And so that's why I think it's really important to be in that market rate, but on the top half of it. The next thing to keep in mind with pricing is you want your pricing to be simple. There are so many photographers that use very complicated pricing strategies. And rather than talk about all the reasons I don't think complicated pricing is a good strategy, I want to point your attention to the companies that are successful and that have done millions of dollars in real estate photo shoots. The vast majority of them have very simple pricing, or at least a very simple way to order. So if they do have more complicated pricing, they're not repeating that over and over on the phone. They're directing their clients to a very simple order form that will help lead them through that. So one way or another, you want to have simple pricing that's easy to understand. And this will not only help you when your clients go to order, like the process better and just generally think you're a better company to work with, but also when they go to refer you, which is very important, they'll be able to actually pass on your pricing and not give this complicated, well, if you do this, it's this much, you do this, it's this much. We've constantly heard clients of ours say that they really like how our flat rate pricing is and that they know what they're going to pay for every shoot. Okay, so those are two really important things to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is your specific market area. It's really easy to look at other photography companies that are in a completely different area than you and think that you can just copy their pricing. I already kind of hit on this, but that's why I recommend going to look at your local competitors, see what they're pricing, and then be in the top 50% of those. That way you're not leaving any money on the table. Okay, so we're now going to jump into the actual order form at my business, as well as kind of break down our pricing. And so this is what they see here. This is a software called the HD Photo Hub that we use to set this up, and you can find our code linked in the description. That'll give you $60 worth of free credits, but they'll go in and type in an address here, type in an old house of mine, and then residential, commercial, it'll ask them. And then here's our pricing. So we have three main packages, our Plus, Pro, and our Base package. Our Plus package is the most expensive at $725. It includes 40 photos, 60-second video, drone, that kind of stuff. You can see all that here, and then we go down in descending order. There's no like perfect way to do this. The reason we put the most expensive first, it goes back to this concept suit retailers will use, or really anybody. Suits just an easy way to understand it. So like you go in to buy a suit, they're going to put the $3,000 suit on you first. You're going to be like, oh, that's expensive. And then when they show you an $1,000 suit, it seems really cheap. It's exactly what we're doing here. It makes these other packages seem very inexpensive. Then moving on to our pro package, we have that this is our most popular, and that's not a marketing gimmick. This is our most popular of the packages at $325. It has 40 MLS photos. MLS just means multiple listing service. So it just means photos that they can put on the MLS. So it's just a 40 photo package. Then we have the floor plan with room measurements. That's one you can see like right here. It's just an actual floor plan, drone photos, and a marketing kit. HD Photo creates that marketing kit for us. And then our base media package. The whole purpose of this base media package is basically to get the people who would just order your smallest package a la carte to order a package that slightly increases that average order value. So we throw a floor plan on there and charge $195. And then we have our a la carte services down here. So they can order anything a la carte. You know, they could order a $155 shoot, $125 shoot. Additional services, you can kind of see here. So twilight photos, virtual twilight photos, community photos. We have our video services here. So we offer like social media videos, which would be vertical format videos for our 6250 if that's an add-on, and then 125. You can see some other services here. We offer virtual staging for $50 an image. We offer floor plans, 3D tours. You can see range just under $200. We have some like random things that we're testing here that don't work very well. But that's generally how our pricing structure works. The vast majority of the time we're trying to push people into one of these packages, and that's why we put them at the top. But I would still say like about half of our clients order a la carte. So they skip the packages and just go down here. We used to not even offer packages, and then as we started really focusing on average order value and these online systems came to be, if you don't have an online system, it's really horrible explaining to someone what a package is over the phone. You're like, our plus package includes this, this, and this, and our pro, and by the time you get to like the base, they forgot what's in the other two. But now that we have online ordering, I think it's a great idea to have packages, and we've seen our average order value climb from like $200 to that $350 range. So that's a big deal. It makes a big difference in our business. You can see all the rest of our pricing here. Feel free to pause the video to read any of these specific things. Keep in mind that like the vast majority of your revenue, especially when you're first starting, is going to come from photos. Keep in mind that when you're first starting, the vast majority of your revenue is going to come from just regular photos and maybe drone photos. And then over time, you may get some revenue from like video services and 3D tours. But generally, still, even with my company, most of our revenue is coming from photo services. So that's the most important thing. And continuing just to show you how the actual order form works. So let's say they've picked a package here. It'll allow them to go down and actually pick a time. So it knows based upon what we ordered that it's going to give our photographer an hour and 30 minutes. It's going to check availability, and it's actually doing it based upon this address. And so it's trying to funnel them into a time when we're already close to this address to reduce drive time. If they don't want one of those, they can pick on the calendar from any time that's available. You can see we have really good availability because we have a bigger team. So we're pretty much able to fit it in whenever. Once they pick a time, it's going to take them to the next stages and ask them some questions. Will the agent or homeowner meet us? Our Supra, which is a key we can use to get into a house when an agent's not there, and just some other things that apply in our market, and then go ahead and pay and place their order. So they're actually able to fully book online using this system. And that's how we price our services at Norman & Young. The more important part of this video, though, is those two things I talked about at the start. Be really careful to make sure you're priced within the market. If you price yourself too high out of the market, you're just not going to get a lot of jobs, and it's not going to go that well for you. But what I'm not saying alternatively is you should price yourself way below the market. I think that's a really bad idea. And one thing generally that we've seen a lot of real estate photographers do wrong is they think that they need to shoot luxury to make money. And that's why you see these real estate photographers that charge a lot. They're like, well, if I can do a $600 shoot for an average house, let me price $2,000 to do these expensive houses. But the thing that they failed to take into account was there's not a lot of expensive houses in an area usually. And so if you price yourself for those higher homes and you try to get those, you're not going to get a lot of consistency. And if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I think consistency is the most important part of any photo business. If you can't count on your revenue for next month, it's hard to do anything. You can't plan for your personal expenses, and you certainly can't build a team and grow your business. And that's what I love about shooting the normal real estate that my business shoots every day. We know that we're going to be booked out for the next few weeks, almost always, right? We always have next day availability, but generally we know that we're always going to have shoots on our calendar. So I'm never wondering how I'm going to make payroll or how I'm going to go find more business. It's always there because we target a market with a lot of business. So don't make the mistake of pricing yourself for luxury and thinking that you'll make more money if you shoot luxury homes, because that's absolutely not the case. If you haven't yet, I highly encourage you to watch the workshop linked in my bio. It's an hour long and I go over basically the exact roadmap that I would follow if I was starting my real estate photo company again. So to give you a great head start, and as always, I have a ton of other videos on YouTube talking about a lot of the things that you need to know to be successful as a real estate photographer. So check out that workshop and I'll see you in the next video.